very good evening and assalamu alaikum. My name is Anisa Mazimpaka and we are coming to you live from NASREC with Salam Media. Now, as NASREC gets successfully painted with the colors of the liberation movement of black, green and gold, we ask, what is in it for the majority of black South Africans? What are the greener pastures for South Africans in general, and what are the golden opportunities, policies and resolutions that the ANC conference will resolve in its 55th national conference? Well, to assist us in responding to those, we are joined by the ANC National Spokesperson, Comrade Pule Mabe. He is also contending for the Treasurer General position. And as we begin, a very good evening and welcome to Salam Media, Pule Mabe.
Evening to your listeners.
Right. So to begin, we just want to, we'll take it from the top. We saw that there was a couple of registration hiccups this morning. What do you read into that? Or what can you tell us was the holdup in that?
We have introduced a new membership system. It is for the first time that we are convening a conference using that membership system. So in trying to perfect it, would have to overcome a number of glitches. One such would be that the system itself would not allow the insertion of a member's detail as a voting delegate if their membership is not in good standing. So you have had to deal with that category of members. You also have had to deal with a category of members where you needed to do replacements. So you had to manage these things so that they don't collapse the critical path of conference, which is the credibility of conference itself. So it was nothing that had to do with policy, politics. It had everything to do with administration. It's a learning curve. We will perfect it. We're a growing organization. We're bringing in bigger numbers to attend our conferences. So everything that comes our way, we treat it as a learning path.
So can you say right now, or rather, let me ask you, has the registration of all delegates been sorted, or is there still just a few that need to be processed?
Well, as at Friday, the 16th of December, 2022, at exactly 5 to 8 in the evening, we can confirm that well over 90% of the delegates had been registered. So you have to make sure that of those that had been registered are the people whose details you have on record.
Right.
It is not those who might be having or unavailable, couldn't take pictures, because the registration could vary in terms of what we are doing. But it's quite an internal process. It must be understood in that way, but work is being done to make sure that everything else is sorted.
Okay, just something interesting that came from you this morning was your emphasis on no alcohol on the premises. Is there a specific reason that you made that emphasis? Because I think you said that probably 5 times, just to notify media, notify comrades. So is there a specific reason perhaps?
Of course there is, because we have declared this area an alcohol-free zone. And because of that declaration, we have to make sure that members of the media themselves are also made aware of such. We are saying so because we don't want to find ourselves in variance with our colleagues in the media who may have, out of late night shifts, decide to do activities that their age allows for and come back the following day not having recovered fully.
Right.
Seen by delegates in that state, then sent a wrong impression. So we are emphasizing so that the decorum of conference and its preservation is something that we protect, all of us.
Okay, no, thank you for that. And just before we get into the political report,
That's fine.
Just before we get into that, I wanted to ask, there's something very interesting and probably a breaking news story, that caught our attention just yesterday, and along the better parts of today, was the Jacob Zuma Foundation releasing a statement, saying that the president of the ANC and the president of the state had been criminally charged. What is your take on that?
Well, we are not aware of that as the ANC. It has been brought to our attention. Like I said earlier on, the president has delivered his political report. It was not a machine delivering the report. It was the president himself.
So are you saying that you're not aware of these allegations that are made by the Jacob Zuma Foundation?
Well, because they were not sent to me.
Right.
Remember, how I would become aware of something in my official capacity as national spokesperson is if it is sent to the ANC. Because if something is circulates out there, I do not know whether it is fake news, it is real, and all of that.
So would it not be a concern that the president of the state is the president of the ANC as well, which would then call for it to get your attention, perhaps?
Well, the little I know is that the presidency in government has already responded.
Okay. I just want to get a take from you. In the political report of the president, do you take that as? Do you agree with the political report? Do you say that is a true reflection of the organization and to some parts South Africa?
Of course, the president has done an honest diagnosis of the country and the organization he leads. What he said reflects our own expressions in the 5 years that we have been in office. The political report represents all of the things that this National Executive Committee, outgoing, would have said. So we are not in variance.
So just an interesting thing that I picked up was an issue of social justice, an issue of land, dispossession. And it would seem that the ANC has been speaking about these issues from the advent of democracy. We still find people, living in poverty. The president himself mentioned that almost half of the population still live in poverty. What are the active steps that the ANC has been taking to alleviate this, because we know that the ANC, or rather South Africa, is one of the most unequal societies in the world. So what is your take on that? And do we then say to South Africans that we will come to conference and, we'll take these resolutions, but we don't really, as citizens on the grounds, residents, we don't really see this coming into act?
I'm trying to locate the context. We're asking about land.
I'm asking about, social justice, dispossessed people, land comes into play. And the president touched on that. But I just wanted to find out, almost 30 years into democracy, we still have ANC, the liberation movement, still, touching on these.
Well, this being my last question, what I would say is that the ANC has always been committed to our people reclaiming one, ownership of the land, ownership of the minerals, and ownership of the wealth of the country. We articulate and say this point sharply in the Freedom Charter. We elevated the Freedom Charter to become our minimum program. As our minimum program, so to suggest that even as we developed the Reconstruction and Development Plan in 1994, we were locating the creation of a better life for all and how we can do that through public policy. We built houses, social housing for our people. We constructed roads for our people. We provided them with sanitation. We did all of these things through what we came to call a people's budget, because our view has always been that a people's budget can be able to consolidate the delivery of the desires of our people in a manner and way that fits into the promises we have made as a political party.
So just one or two last questions, if you'll allow me. Whilst touching on that, I'm just reflecting.
The challenge is that, you see, when we spoke earlier, you raised an issue about my availability to the media. I did indicate that I'm always available. So normally when I make myself available for interviews, I always ask, for how much time do you want to talk to me? Then once you give me the time, other media houses that want to talk to me, I also schedule them. Because I saw that you had an interview earlier, I respected that and said, okay. And then I committed to talk to other mediums soon afterwards. Because the NC only has one spokesperson.
Which
And I'm
that,
trying,
that being you.
for
It's
now at least, I'm trying my best to make sure that I'm available to all of you.
It's understandable,
Yes.
Comrade Pule. Let us release you and thank you for joining us and thank you for your time.
No, thanks and thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. Well, you heard it from the ANC National Spokesperson. I think an issue that we have all been trying to, understand, and a breaking story, that being the Jacob Zuma Foundation that brought to us these allegations. The spokesperson for the ANC says that he knows nothing of it and the office has not received anything. So, again, in the coming days, as we see NASREC being painted black, green, and gold, we ask again, what is in it for the black disenfranchised masses? What are the greener pastures that exist? And what are these golden policies and resolutions that will come from this conference? I'm Anisa Mazimpaka for Salam Media, coming to you live at NASREC, Johannesburg. Thank you.